Hello. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use whiteboarding with drawing tablets from tablets such as Wacom or XP Pen, the two tablets I happen to have, to do whiteboarding for IT professionals. This could be for network engineers, cloud engineers, developers, database admins, and virtually all other type of IT professionals that typically need to do whiteboarding with their colleagues or customers. And I've been using this solution for a few years, and this really combines the best of digital and analog world. And so I'm going to quickly give you a preview of what that looks like, then show you some of the settings and the software, and then also show you what the tablets physically look like themselves, go through a whiteboarding demo, and then we'll close off the video. So first, I'm going to show you a preview. So here's a sample presentation in PowerPoint, and I'm going to go to presentation mode. And what I'm going to do is, using my tablet, start drawing things. And I can pretend that I'm in front of a customer or colleague and explaining to them, okay, the client will authenticate using Cognito and access static web content in an S3 bucket. I can change the colors. I can go to highlighter mode, so I'll just go to highlighter mode. And network load balancer would front Fargate, a bunch of Fargate containers, and those will get their data from this NoSQL database, and they'll be supported by all of these operational services, etc. So I use this in presentation mode a lot, the tablets, but another place I use it a lot is in OneNote. So I pretty much live in OneNote. So here's just another sample from one of my courses where we had to come up with a service that mimics Pastebin, right? So how the users would be authenticated and would be fronted by a content delivery network, which will go through Elastic Load Balancer to get through a fleet of EC2 instances via the auto scaling group, etc. And and then I can modify this. Okay, actually we're not. Maybe we don't want this to be a fleet of EC2 instances. Maybe we want this to be ECS or EKS instead. So we can make that change or whatever else may be relevant. And another option is the drawing tools, the diagramming tools that you're already using, such as draw.io, or now known as diagram.net. You can draw right on these tools as well. And so what I'm going to do is click on. So first, what you would do is go here, choose the freehand drawing tool. Right, I had already chosen it, so it had appeared. And then now I can draw stuff, and I can draw around objects. This feature in most drawing tools is not as nice and native as it is in OneNote and PowerPoint, where you can draw more freely and draw lightly and draw thicker lines, use the pressure sensitivity of the drawing tablets, etc. So that's a quick little demo. So now what I'm going to do is show you physically what these tablets look like. So let me turn on my camera. And this is the Wacom drawing tablet. This is about 5x4 drawing area here, and it has some buttons on top. And these buttons are really useful, and I'm going to quickly show you. I've set this to undo and this to redo, and I've done a similar setting on the other tablet. This is a wired tablet. This is the Intuos S. I'll put a link to this in the description. 60 American dollars, 90 to 100 Canadian dollars usually at most retailers. And this has been my go-to device for the last few years. Recently, I upgraded to the XP Pen Deco Pro Medium. So this is a medium-sized version. They have a few different sizes. Deco Pro is XP Pen is a manufacturer that specializes, just like Wacom, in drawing tablets. And this, you can see there's no wires, so this is wired. It charges via USB-C port. It can work in wired or wireless mode. So if you ever run out of the battery, which lasts 12 hours, you can still use the tablet. And this also has some buttons which I've mapped to undo and redo. So this is basically what the tablets look like in person. So this is a tiny, light device. This is like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds heavier device, but not too heavy for day-to-day use. Most of the time, I have it in my lap and I'm writing on it. This is what the pen for the XP pen looks like, and this is what the pen, or the stylus is what they call it, for the Wacom looks like. So next I'm going to quickly show you the software settings for both of these tablets. Okay, so we'll start with Wacom. So here's what the Wacom drivers and software looks like. So it's like a software and driver all in one, and it's the same model for both the tablets. And for both of these tablets, there's 3 key settings that you want to change and modify and customize, right? So there's the tablet settings themselves, the buttons on the tablet. And it just shows you physically what the buttons look like and what you can map them to. So I've mapped these buttons to undo and redo, right? As you can see. Then there's the pen settings. And what I like to do is set one of the 2 buttons that are physically on the pen to erase mode. And you can choose other modes, but erase mode is required very often for, an IT professional. You draw something, you erase it, you replace it with something else, etc. Another very important setting is almost all IT professionals tend to have 2 or more monitors. So you want to make sure that your tablet drawing area is mapped to a portion of the monitor or an entire monitor. So typically if you have a widescreen monitor, you would want to map it to a portion of the monitor. Okay. Next, we'll look at these same 3 settings in the XP Pen software and drivers. So that software, they call it Pen Tablet. So this is a pen tablet software. Again, same idea. The software and the drivers are all in one package. So you can't just install the drivers or the software. It's just all one package. So we'll start from the top. Work area, same idea applies. You want to select which portion of the screen you want to draw on. So I'm just going to quickly do that. I'd already done that from before, but I'll just redo it to show that this portion of the tablet is associated with this particular screen from edge to edge. Okay. Same idea applies to pen settings, and I've set one of the two buttons to be eraser. Okay. And then there's the keys, right? And I've set the K3 key to undo and K4 key to redo. Okay. This tablet has many more buttons, as you can see, and it even has a scroll wheel, and this is a much fancier tablet. Both of these are designed for artists and other, creative professionals. So they would typically use the buttons a lot more. And you can too, of course, but I pretty much only use the undo and redo buttons. So that's the software that we went through. And this is pretty much the only software settings you would ever need to change in either of these 2 tablets. And so now we'll go into a little bit of a more detailed whiteboarding demo, right? So what I would typically do, what my workflow would be like is, I would work with a customer or team members to, let me just erase this quickly, to gather some requirements, gather some notes. And again, this is just from a course that I did on cloud computing, and then draw out what that scenario would look like. So in the interest of time, I've already drawn it out from before, and then I would talk through the design with the customer or colleagues, right? Here's the users, and it's fronted by CloudFront, and that goes to the load balancer, and it hits the EC2 cluster. That's associated with a bunch of Lambda functions for some processing, and this particular NoSQL database, etc. And if you want to utilize software from Cisco or Palo Alto for packet inspection, and we'll send it through a transit gateway, which would send it through a fleet of a firewall virtual machines, etc. So, we don't have to get into the details of this particular design or scenario, but basically the idea is, you can draw and whiteboard similar to you used to do on a whiteboard, but on the comfort of your own computer remotely, wherever you're working from. And erase stuff by pressing the erase button, draw stuff, and things like that. And so what I also typically do is first I draw out the different scenarios. And then once I have drawn them out and I'm happy with where my design is, then I would create that design in draw.io or whatever other drawing tool, diagramming tool, Visio, Lucidchart, or any other tool you may be using. One huge benefit of doing the things this way instead of going straight to draw.io or Lucidchart is that you save a lot of time and effort that you would typically waste in those programs, having to move around all the boxes before you get to the final design. It's a lot easier to just quickly, okay, let's throw an application load balancer in here, okay, and then send the data, replicate the data to an Aurora cluster or something. I'm just making up examples, and so it's a lot easier and quicker to do this rather than going through different iterations of the diagram. And once you have your sketch, your whiteboarding finalized, then you can put in some effort in transferring this to your diagramming tool. So I pretty much live in OneNote. Here's another example from one of my courses as well, where you building a cloud native application for some financial services, right? We're using auto scaling group for web front end, and then the back end is using Lambda associated with Aurora database with a caching layer in the middle. For the user data, for the user ID data, and then for the user content, we're using DynamoDB, and things are being processed through the simple queuing service fronted by the API gateway, and then there's the CloudFront in front of that to cache the data and improve performance. And then this this particular scenario was more elaborately, oops, transferred to a diagram on draw.io, in which it was converted into a presentation, and then even as you're going through the presentation, you can continue to use the tablet heavily to explain what you're doing to the client, or to your customers, to your colleagues, or whoever else. Okay, yeah, his CloudTrail. This keeps track of all the events that are administrative events that are happening in your AWS environment, or whatever else the scenarios, right? Like you can so you can direct people's attention to what portion of the diagram you want to show. The other option here is, instead of using drawing, you can use animations. And sometimes it's just not feasible to do lots of animations, and this keeps things fluid and conversational, and you can direct your customers or colleagues' attention to exactly where you want them to see. So as I'm drawing and I'm talking, you're looking at the areas that I'm drawing, right? Naturally. So yeah. So with that said, we're going to close off the presentation. So I hope you found this useful. Again, I'll put the links to these Wacom and XP Pen tablets in the description. I hope you give this a try. The Wacom tablet is about 60 American dollars, 100 Canadian dollars. XP Pen tablets around 140 American dollars, 200 Canadian dollars. They often go on sale for 20, 10, 20, 30 bucks less, especially the XP Pen one. They both have number of different options available in terms of tablets with different sizes. And it takes about 30 to 60 minutes to get used to your hand drawing something on a tablet, on a drawing tablet, and seeing that on the screen, and your brain making that association. But once you get that practice, it's like learning to ride a bicycle. You pretty much have it forever, and you can really supercharge and enhance your whiteboarding game. And as I mentioned early on in the video, even in in-person meetings with colleagues and customers, I take my tablet with me. These are portable enough to take with you, and use them in live settings as well, which really helps more clearly convey whatever I'm trying to convey to my customers, and better understand the customers as well. All right, thank you for watching. Have a good day.